everyone, this is the game I created, Letter Quest, a phonics adventure. The goal of the game is for students to collect all of the lost jewels from each habitat and place them into a magical crown and staff to restore the sound magic back into the world. To start, the players will choose their character and start at the home base. Then the player will decide which habitat they want to venture to first. For example, they could start at the forest habitat or they could start at the mountain habitat. It does not matter where they start or the order they navigate the game board, as long as they complete all of the challenges and collect the jewels necessary. Alright, so I want Mia to start at the forest, so I will put her in the forest habitat, and then I can start my challenges. So here are my challenge cards, which I used index cards to create, and each card is labeled with the difficulty. So 1 being the easiest, and then 3 being the hardest. As well as they are all color coordinated to each of the habitats that they correspond with. So the forest is brown, ocean is dark blue, mountain is green, the desert is orange, and the Arctic is a light blue color. For the prototype, I only did 1 card for each difficulty and habitat, but for the real gameplay, there would be multiple cards for each difficulty and for each habitat to allow just for more variety, more card choice, especially if there's more than 1 player playing at a time. So the player starts with card 1 from that habitat where their character is. So I'm going to start with forest card 1. And then it says the challenge is use the letter tiles to make the word for the picture. So the picture here is a cat, and then these are the letter tiles right here. So on the bottom of the board, there's a space where the players will use to build and write the letters that they are making and write the words that they are making. So for this one, I'm going to do the CVC word. This is cat. So I just find my letter tiles, I put them into the empty spaces, and that is my first challenge completed. So once a challenge is successfully completed, then I'm going to keep the card, and then I'm going to place my color star. So there are a variety of color stars here. I'm going to use the yellow, and I'm going to place 1 yellow star into the habitat to know I completed the first challenge. Now the player will move on to the second challenge, so forest number 2. And this one is a matching challenge. So the challenge is match pictures to the words. Now in order to reuse these cards, the player would just point to the corresponding CVC word and the picture. So they would read the word bag and point to where the bag is, hat, point to the hat, and then map, point to the map. Once this is successfully done, then we can place another star into that forest habitat, and then the player gets to keep that second card. Finally, the third card the player must complete. This is the most challenging, and this one is read the sentence. So there's a short decodable sentence here, and it says the fat cat sat on the mat. So I successfully read this card. I keep this card. I put my third star into the forest. I know I completed all of those challenges. And now, right over here in the desert area, right where there's this tumbleweed, there are the gemstones. I choose my gemstone. And now I have successfully gained my gemstone for the forest habitat and collected that. So now I can move on to the next habitat of choice. If the player does not complete all 3 of the challenges, then they are not eligible to move on to the next habitat, and they will actually lose their current turn. However, the player is able to keep the cards of the challenges that they have successfully completed. So let's just say I completed the first 2 challenges but didn't complete the third one. I keep my 2 stars here. I keep my challenge cards. My turn is over. The next player goes. And then when it comes back around to my turn, then I have to complete that third challenge in order to move on to the next habitat. And then also, if the player does not pass that very first challenge, they lose their turn automatically because it's a progression of challenges. So if they can't pass the first one, they cannot move on to the second or the third. They lose their turn, it goes to the next player, and then they come back and get a turn when it comes back around. So the first player to collect all 5 jewels, so we have all the jewels here. For the first player to collect 5 of those jewels is the winner, and they have to say the sound magic spell to successfully restore sound magic back to the world. So they come here to the goal at the end. The scroll is here with the sound magic spell, and they have to say the spell. Letters and sounds come back to play, bring magic words to life today. From forest green to mountains high, let every vowel light the sky. With crown and staff, our quest is done. Sound magic shines for everyone. So they have to say that, and then they will be the winner. For this prototype, I was thinking while saying the spell that I could create maybe a crown and then have a little wand for the winner to be wearing while they're saying the spell to really complete the game experience. And then finally, I had originally thought of putting a game tracker somewhere here, maybe on this top corner, just so the players could track their progress and how they're doing throughout the game. But I couldn't really figure out how exactly I wanted to do that and how I wanted to plan that. But I was also thinking that maybe just collecting the jewels is kind of a built-in game tracker, so I don't think that I will be going forward with that, but I'll have to continue to figure it out. So this prototype is basically the basics of early literacy. I definitely would want to expand on it to incorporate more reading skills, such as reading words with digraphs, blends, some sight words in there, just to make it a little more challenging. And there definitely could be a variety of versions of this for struggling students to more advanced students, which I could definitely prototype and continue to modify. So thank you so much. I had a lot of fun making this, and I hope you enjoyed my prototype. Thank you.